Inflammation. It's a word we hear often in the health and wellness space. But did you know that certain proteins you eat every day might be causing inflammation overload in your body? After struggling with unexplained bloating, fatigue, and joint pain, I made a bold decision to eliminate 3 specific proteins from my diet, and the results were shocking. In today's video, I'll take you through my journey, what led me to make this change, how my body reacted, and most importantly, what proteins I removed and how it helped me reduce inflammation. Stay with me, because you don't want to miss these crucial insights. What is inflammation and why you should care? Define inflammation. Before we dive into the proteins, let's talk about inflammation. In simple terms, inflammation is your body's natural defense mechanism. It's like your body's internal fire alarm, protecting you from infections and injuries. But what happens when the fire alarm never shuts off? Chronic inflammation dangers. Chronic inflammation can lead to various health problems, including heart disease, diabetes, and even autoimmune conditions. Unfortunately, the very foods we think are healthy might be contributing to this overload. The 3 inflammatory proteins protein number 1, gluten, wheat protein. First on my list was gluten. Gluten is found in grains like wheat, barley, and rye. For many, it's harmless, but for others, it's a silent trigger for inflammation. After reading research and connecting the dots, I realized that my constant bloating and stomach discomfort could be linked to gluten. Why it's inflammatory. Gluten can irritate the gut lining and lead to a condition called leaky gut. This allows toxins and harmful substances to leak into the bloodstream, causing an immune reaction, and you guessed it, chronic inflammation. My experience. Within a week of removing gluten, my bloating reduced, and my energy levels started improving. The constant fatigue I was experiencing became more manageable, and I felt lighter. Protein number 2, casein, dairy protein. Next up is casein, the protein found in milk and other dairy products. While dairy is a great source of calcium, it can be a huge problem for those sensitive to its proteins. Why it's inflammatory. Casein is known to trigger an inflammatory response, especially for people who are lactose intolerant or sensitive to dairy. It can cause skin problems, gut inflammation, and even exacerbate joint pain. My experience. After cutting out dairy, I noticed my skin started clearing up, and my joint pain, especially in my knees, began to subside. It was clear that casein was taking a toll on my body. Protein number 3, red meat. Finally, red meat. While it's a powerhouse of protein, it can also be a hidden source of inflammation. Why it's inflammatory. Red meat contains high levels of saturated fats and a compound called Nu-5-GC, which our bodies can't break down. As a result, our immune system attacks it, creating chronic inflammation. My experience. Removing red meat from my diet was the hardest, but within 2 weeks I noticed less stiffness in my joints, better digestion, and I even slept better at night. What I replaced them with. Gluten-free alternatives. I replaced gluten with whole grains like quinoa, buckwheat, and brown rice. These alternatives are rich in fiber, which helps reduce inflammation and supports gut health. Dairy alternatives. For dairy, I switched to plant-based milks like almond, oat, and coconut milk. I also began incorporating more calcium-rich veggies like broccoli and kale into my diet. Meat alternatives. As for red meat, I began focusing on lean protein sources such as fish, chicken, and plant-based proteins like legumes, tofu, and tempeh. Anti-inflammatory foods. Along with cutting out these proteins, I also added anti-inflammatory foods like turmeric, ginger, and fatty fish rich in omega-3s. These changes not only helped me manage my inflammation, but improved my overall well-being. The results after 30 days plus. Physical changes. After a month, I felt lighter and more energetic. My digestion improved drastically, and the bloating that used to be a daily struggle was almost gone. Mental and emotional health. Interestingly, my mood also improved. Inflammation doesn't just affect your body. It can impact your brain, leading to mood swings and even depression. But after 30 days, I felt more balanced and calm. Lab results. I also got my blood work done after the 30-day experiment, and my inflammation markers, specifically C-reactive protein, CRP, had dropped significantly. Should you try it? My recommendations. Listen to your body. Everyone's body is different. What worked for me might not work for you, but if you're struggling with unexplained inflammation, fatigue, or digestive issues, it might be worth experimenting by cutting out these proteins. Consult a doctor or nutritionist. Always consult with a healthcare professional before making drastic changes to your diet. They can guide you through the process and help identify any sensitivities or intolerances you might have. Start small. Try cutting out one protein at a time to see how your body reacts. Keep a journal to track your symptoms, and remember, it's all about finding what works best for your body. My final thoughts. Removing these 3 proteins from my diet was eye-opening. I didn't expect such a drastic improvement in my health, but it just goes to show how much our diet impacts our body's inflammatory response. If you're experiencing similar symptoms, give it a try. You might be surprised at how your body reacts. Have you tried cutting out any of these proteins from your diet? Let me know your experience in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell notification so you don't miss out on more health tips and wellness journeys like this one. Thanks for watching, and remember, sometimes the simplest dietary changes can lead to the biggest improvements in your health. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video.